Good morning and welcome. It is good to be with you this morning. A couple of things to remind you of before we begin singing and humming. One is let's all now put our phones in worship mode. And another, we did get some feedback from our Zoom participants that they would like to see the choir as well as see the words. And Michaela is putting instructions for how you can make your split screen in the chat. So follow those directions if that's what you'd like to do. She can't make that happen for you, but you can do it on your device. So, and the choir will be fully visible for a couple of pieces as well. We are so grateful to be with you for this very special service. Blue Christmas, Cheery Xmas, both maybe at the same time. I am so happy to invite you to hum with the choir, the gathering hymn, which is our Unitarian carol, one of them. Well, Jingle Bells, it's not really a carol, but it came upon the midnight clear, which never was more apropos. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing and hum this wonderful carol.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our Blue Christmas and Cheery Xmas holiday service. This is the time when we can join with others and acknowledge the blue feelings that we have during the holidays. And for many of us, those who have lost a loved one, this can be a moment of deep pain. For others, it is a lonely time of the year. It is certainly not joyous for everyone in this time of continued global public health crisis, economic and political uncertainty, and natural disasters. In this service, we're going to hear music appropriate for the season. We will reflect on our sorrows through our readings, and we will remember our loved ones, and we will pray for hope and comfort as we rest in the comfort of this beloved community. Our hearts are bursting with sadness and concern for all people affected by the tornadoes that demolished the U.S. heartland on Friday night. We pray for the missing, for the dead, and the bereaved. And we pray for those left homeless and without power and fresh water. We will sprinkle some Christmas cheer to remind us to count our blessings and to have an attitude of gratitude during this holiday season. Gary and I, the good doctor and humorist, will be your liturgists today. And we want to remind each of us that we are all representatives of care and love in this community. And each of us is an agent of healing and compassion.
Words for today's chalice lighting come from I Will Light Candles This Christmas by Howard Thurman. I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn bright all the year long. Please rise and body your spirit as you are able and join me in saying our church's Affirmation of Covenant and humming of the Doxology, which the choir will sing in English and Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is our sacrament, and prayer is our pledge. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow, harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We welcome those of you who are here this morning in person, as well as those who are joining us by streaming technology. The Reverend Kalani Casella is in the pulpit this morning and will be leading the service. My name is Gary Cockrell and I'm delighted to be your service associate today. We will try to warm your soul on this rather chilly morning. I'm intrigued by the program Reverend Casale has put together this morning. I've heard of a white Christmas, but a blue Christmas is a little different. And I suspect Bing Crosby is going to be interested as well, and we'll be tuning in. Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with each other according to Unitarian Universalist principles and the congregation's covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all forms. Everyone is welcome. You can learn more about our church at our website, uuchurchlc.org. If you are visiting us today, we'd like to meet you. If you are in the sanctuary, please rise in body or spirit and introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you are from, and how you heard about this church. Do we have any visitors in the sanctuary this morning? Welcome, Dick. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining by Zoom, just turn on your microphone and camera in order to introduce yourself. Any visitors joining us by Zoom? And Bing, if you're out there, this is a time for you to tune in as well. Any Zoom visitors?
Good morning. I'm here. My name is Jennifer. I'm Gary's daughter.
Are you done, Jennifer?
I'm done.
Thank you, Jen, for joining us. She's in Sacramento, California. Well, thank you. We're pleased that you've joined us today for our service. Please fill out a visitor's card in the lobby or leave your email in the chat box so we can invite you to other services and activities at the church. If you're a shy visitor but still curious about our church, please feel free to fill out a visitor's card in the foyer or leave your email in the chat box on Zoom, and you will receive the same information. Directly following the service, there will be time to fellowship with one another during coffee hour, hosted by the Hospitality Committee. This committee has crafted a new normal for coffee hour with a focus on keeping us all healthy. For now, members of the Hospitality Committee will serve you either water or coffee and bite-sized treats. We will enjoy these refreshments and conversation outside in the very fresh air. Today, I have several announcements. First, the Social Justice Committee has committed to buying at least one table of 10 for the Martin Luther King Day breakfast sponsored by the Doña Ana branch of the NAACP as part of our MLK Day of Service. The annual breakfast is a major fundraiser for our partner organization, NAACP, and will be held Monday, January 17th, 9 o'clock at the Las Cruces Convention Center. Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales will give a keynote address, and our own Clayton Flowers will be recognized. Jan Thompson will be collecting your reservations. Payments can be made by cash or check payable to NAACP-DAC. Next, unique and reusable holiday gift boxes in many sizes are available for a donation. There will be a display near the hospitality area outside the great room from 11:15 to 12:30 today and next Sunday, the 19th. Choose festive design boxes for your holiday gifts. Box lids detach to put gifts inside. Most boxes fit in mailers for easy sending. Proceeds go to the UUCLC Religious Education Program and the Humane Society of Southern New Mexico for causes helping people and animals. Please contact Jean Gilbert for more information. Third, the UUCLC's annual congregational budget and business meeting will be held next Sunday, December 19th, shortly after the worship service. You can participate in this meeting either in person or by Zoom. Since there will be little time for questions during this meeting, the Board of Trustees has scheduled 3 question and answer sessions in advance of the meeting. These sessions, excuse me, Steve, go ahead. 4 meetings? Okay, I've got 3 listed here, but no, I've got 4 because I'm going to tell you about them right now. These sessions will be held by Zoom only and are scheduled for tomorrow. Now, Steve and Susan, correct me if I'm right here. Tomorrow, Monday, December 13th, and next Thursday, December 16th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. There's 2. Next Thursday, December 16th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Sorry, I already said that one. We still got 2, right? And next Saturday, December 18th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., as well as from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. There's 4. Got it? Is it correct? Okay. Contact Susan Hishka if additional information is needed. Here's an announcement that I thought Haney had taken care of a while back, but there's an addendum. This was the first year Elwyn offered bulk packages of truffles for sale, but because of the speed with which they sold out, he has decided to make more. Here we go. Elwyn has 10 packages, several different flavors, $20 per package of 17 truffles. Do you have the calorie count on those? 130 per truffle. Sounds like it's worth it. All money raised goes to the church. If you're interested, please see Elwyn after the service. It's a message from Dennis Weichel. It is with a heavy heart that I am reporting to the Las Cruces Unitarian Universalist congregation that I am selling my home in Las Cruces and relinquishing my snowbird covenant status here, and will be returning full-time to live in Salem, Wisconsin on Saturday. Dennis is traveling with Dick, who introduced himself earlier. I want to thank this congregation and the many friends we have made here for the joy and love both Kay and I experienced in your presence and the heartfelt support I received upon Kay's passing this last August. Sincerely yours in love, Dennis Weichel. Thank you, Dennis. And finally, we're sad to announce that Sally Atkinson's mother, Marilyn, passed away at Mesilla Valley Hospice this past Thursday. Funeral services are planned for December 21st at 10 a.m. at the La Paz Graham's Funeral Home. Today we are celebrating Chalica with reflections on the 7th and 8th principles. I don't know about you, but I had to look up what Chalica is. Chalica is a week-long celebration of UU principles. The holiday first emerged in 2005 out of a wish to have a holiday organized around UU values. Now, isn't that just like us UUs to create our own holiday? Chalica begins on the first Monday in December and lasts 7 days. This is probably going to expand to 8 days with the adoption of the 8th principle by many UU churches. Each day a chalice is lit and the day is spent reflecting on the meaning of that day's principle and doing a good deed that honors that principle. Not all UUs celebrate Chalica, but it has a growing following. Today, I will offer reflections on the 7th principle with words expressed by Reverend Forrest Gilmore, Executive Director of the Shalom Community Center, Bloomington, Indiana. Our seventh principle affirms and promotes respect for the interdependent web of all experience of which we are a part. What a glorious statement. Yet it would be a mistake to limit it merely to an environmental idea. It is so much more. It is our response to the dangers of both individualism and oppression. It is our solution to the seeming conflict between the individual and the group. The seventh principle may be the UU way of coming to fully embrace something greater than ourselves. The interdependent web, expressed as the spirit of life, the ground of all being, the oneness of all existence, the community forming power, the process of life, the creative force, even God, can help us develop that social understanding of ourselves that we and our culture so desperately need. It is a source of meaning to which we can dedicate our lives.
Before I reflect on the eighth principle, I want to say to Gary, I saw you do a little twist up here. I wasn't sure if you're going to do a chubby check or a James Brown Christmas dance for us. Our eighth principle says the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces affirms and promotes journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Our eighth principle speaks to creating spiritualities which take into account today's multicultural UU world. It recognizes just saying all people are or have inherent worth is not enough. UUs must get after it and be explicit and intentional about breaking down all oppressions living within our communities. I watched a short film on Turner Classic Movies last Monday about the history of blackface in American cinema. 3 historians told how blackface started, evolved, and ended. It ended with the advent of the Negro problem, which marked the early years of the civil rights movement as African Americans, then called Negroes, demanded just treatment in US society. Speaking about why we must learn from our past, Eric Lott, one of the speakers, a professor of English, said, "We contend with it today because we live in a society structured in racial dominance that both loves cultural multiplicity and African-American art forms, but doesn't know how to handle them, doesn't know how to deal with them, and certainly doesn't respect them." To which Donald Bogle, a film historian, responded, "That's why we really have to stay on top of it. And even with all of these intellectual theories about what it means and so forth." Unitarian Universalism also had a Negro problem, as documented in White and Black Pioneers in a White Denomination, a seminal book that all seminarians read, many UUs are familiar with, written by Reverend Mark Morrison Reed. It now has a BIPOC problem, as documented in Widening the Circle of Concern, written by our UUA Commission on Institutional Change. The UUCLC continues to have a brown problem, as evidenced by the few brown bodies in our midst. The UU Church must contend with the barriers preventing it from being a beloved community which welcomes and recruits. And I'm saying recruits because I believe we have to get out there and get after people and not expect people will just come here and show up because we have the doors open. We must recruit Black, Indigenous, and people of color. We should all know the acronym BIPOC by now. But more importantly, we ought to ask ourselves, what must be done in Los Cruces to dismantle a society structured in racial dominance? We adopted the eighth principle here in Las Cruces, but the eighth principle is still not printed in the UU hymnal, which means there's work to do. The third speaker on that miniature film, short film, Jacqueline Stewart, a professor of film and an author, says, we must have conversations with people about these things so that you don't just consume them in isolation, but instead become curious and really studious about understanding where they come from. This morning, as we celebrate the UU Chalica tradition, let us affirm our commitment to staying curious and studious about multiculturalism and dismantling oppressions. Let us recommit to staying on top of it. Blessed Chalica, and may it be so.
One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Grr, roar, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Grr, roar, grr. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Trumpa-duh, I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, go, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, tis tis, what a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually, they all left, until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer, until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence, until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing."
I love that story. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing together and hum together in the Bleak Midwinter.
The Work of Christmas by Howard Thurman. When the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to teach the nations, to bring Christ to all, to make music in the heart. Everything you see has its roots in the unseen world. The forms may change, yet the essence remains the same. Every wonderful sight will vanish. Every sweet word will fade. But do not be disheartened. The source they come from is eternal, growing, branching out, giving new life and new joy. Why do you weep? The source is within you, and this whole world is springing up from it. Words of Rumi.
Kalani, you've made me a little self-conscious. I didn't realize I was doing the boogie up here. But Kalani may have some moves of his own because he told me his necklace only lights up when he puts his finger in the wall socket. The next reading is from Christmas 1963 by Joseph Enzweiler. Because we wanted so much that year and had so little, because the winter phone for days stayed silent that would call our father back to work, and he kept silent too, with our mother fearfully proud before us. Because I was young that morning in gray light untouched on the rug, and our gifts were so few, propped along the furniture, for a second my heart fell, then saw how large they made the spaces between them to take the place of less. Because the curtain sun rose brightly on our discarded paper and the things themselves, these 40 years have grown too small to see. The emptiness measured out remains the gift, fills the whole room now, that the whole year out across the snowy lawn. Because a drop of shame burned quietly in the province of love, because we had so little that year, we were given much.
The reading by Mary Oliver goes, chunky and noisy, but with stars in their black feathers. They spring from the telephone wire, and instantly they are acrobats in the freezing wind. And now, in the theater of air, they swing over buildings, dipping and rising. They float like one stippled star that opens, becomes for a moment fragmented, then closes again, and you watch and you try, but you simply can't imagine how they do it with no articulated instruction, no pause, only the silent confirmation that they are this notable thing, this wheel of many parts that can rise and spin over and over again, full of gorgeous life. Ah, world, what lessons you prepare for us, even in the leafless winter, even in the ashy city. I am thinking now of grief and of getting past it. I feel my boots trying to leave the ground. I feel my heart pumping hard. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings.
This reading is from Joy is Hard by Reverend Joe Cheery. Joy is hard. Joy requires us to feel safe enough, to be safe enough, to open to vulnerability. To feel joy, you must be brave. Joy walks into a room after the space has been cleared of shame, cleared of doubt, cleared of self-recrimination. Joy is hard. Joy is hard, and joy is worth the work of preparation, preparing oneself and settling down all the defenses, all the should-haves and could-haves, all the should not haves and might haves. Joy is worth the work. You are worth the work. You can start small. The simple pleasure of your favorite tea, the grand freedom of a full belly laugh. Invite joy to be your companion.
In the city called Wait, also known as the airport, you might think about your life. There is not much else to do. For one thing, there is too much luggage, and you are truly lugging it. You, and it seems everyone. What is it that you need so badly? Think about it. Earlier in another city, you're on the tarmac, a lost hour. You're going to miss your connection and you know it, and you do. You're headed for 5 hours of nothing. And how long can you think about your own life? What I did to save myself was to look for children, the very young ones who couldn't even know where they were going or why. Some of them were fussing, of course, many of them beautifully Hispanic. The storm was still busy outside, and snow falling anywhere, anytime is a wonder. But even more wonderful, and maybe the only thing to put your own life in proportion, were the babies, the little ones, hot and tired, but still gurgling, chuckling as they looked. Wherever they are going or not yet going, in their weary parents' arms. No, their lucky parents' arms upon this broken world.
Words for this morning's candle lighting are from the Whole People of God Clergy Supplement. Reverend Casella and I will lead the lighting of several candles, after each of which there will be a response from you, the congregation. We light this first candle to remember those persons who have been loved and lost. We pause to remember their name, their face, their voice. We give thanks for the memory that binds them to this season.
We light the second candle to redeem the pain and loss, the loss of relationships, the loss of jobs, and the loss of health. As we gather up the pain of the past, we pray for the gift of peace.
May it light up our tomorrows and brighten the future.
We light this third candle to remember ourselves this Christmas time. We pause and remember the past weeks, months, and for some of us, years of downtimes. We remember the poignancy of memories, the grief, the sadness, the hurts, and the pain reflecting on our own mortality.
Let us remember that light is defined in part by the darkness surrounding.
This fourth candle is lit to remember our faith and the gift of hope offered us in the Christmas story. In the depths of human misery and despair, we kindle lives newborn in love, goodwill, mercy toward all people everywhere.
Let us recognize the gifts and blessings of this season.
We invite you now for a few moments of quiet reflection.
At last, we are worshiping in our refurbished sanctuary. In addition, we're streaming each service to include as many people as possible. As a community of faith and generosity, we weathered more than a year and a half during which no services were held in person. We currently practice indoor masking and social distancing in order to help end the spread of COVID-19 and its variants, the most recent of which is Omicron. Many of the church's expenses continued during this time, and some will increase as we reopen and expand services and programs. It is vitally important for ongoing work and health of the church that each of us fulfill our financial pledge. All through the pandemic, we continue to support organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee as recipients of our Change for Change program. The recipient for this quarter is Seroptimus International of Las Cruces, part of a global women's service organization. Their mission is to provide women and girls access to education and training needed to achieve economic development empowerment. Our local Seroptimus Club supports women's education in Southern New Mexico with their Dream It, Be It, and Live Your Dream Awards, which provide financial support for educational programs beyond high school. In addition, the Dream It, Be It Career Support Conference, sponsored by Seroptimus International, teaches high school girls enduring life skills. You can make your pledge or donate to Change for Change by putting checks and change in the basket, by sending checks to the church, or by credit card using the Give link on the church's website. If you're joining this worship service or looking for a spiritual home and are sympathetic to UU values and principles, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces may be the place for you. We believe that when you become a member, you are entering into a warm and deep relationship with the church and all our members and friends. You are becoming part of something that is much bigger than any of us. You're becoming part of a movement to change our community and our world. There are several routes you can take to join. You can speak with a minister after the service. You can call the church and leave a message about your interest, and a person from the membership committee will contact you. Or you can sign the virtual membership book through the link on the order of service. The final reading today is from Hermann Hesse. The high value put upon every minute of time, the idea of hurry, hurry as the most important objective of living, is unquestionably the most dangerous enemy of joy. I would simply like to claim an old and alas, unfashionable private formula. Moderate enjoyment is double enjoyment, and do not overlook the little joys. A tree, or at least a considerable section of sky, is to be seen anywhere. It does not even have to be a blue sky. In some way or another, the light of sun always makes itself felt. Accustom yourself every morning to look for a moment at the sky, and suddenly you will be aware of the air around you, the scent of morning freshness that is bestowed on you between sleep and labor. You will find every day that the gable of every house has its own particular look, its own special lighting. Pay it some heed, and you will have for the rest of the day a remnant of satisfaction and a touch of coexistence with nature. Gradually and without effort, the eye trains itself to transmit many small delights, to contemplate nature and the city streets, to appreciate the inexhaustible fun of daily life. From there on to the fully trained artistic eye is the smaller half of the journey. The principal thing is the beginning, the opening of eyes.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit and hum with the choir the final hymn, Let Christmas Come.
As you go into the world during this Christmas holiday season, I offer you this old Irish blessing. May the blessing of light be upon you, light without and light within. May the blessed sunlight shine upon you, and warm your heart till it glows like a great fire, so that strangers may come and warm themselves, and also a friend. May the light shine out of the eyes of you, like a candle set in the windows of a house, bidding the wanderer to come in out of the storm.
Before we extinguish the chalice, Catherine and choir, I'd just like to say it. I thought the music this morning was particularly beautiful. Thank you very much. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish the flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.